My name is Ramien Williams, and I am a second, United States Marine Corps veteran, and this is called Last Christmas. From the age of 6 to 12, my parents would send me and my older sister, Medusa, up here to Indianapolis to visit with my grandmother. Summers I loved up here because I got to spend time with a woman that I loved, and I felt like she loved me until I had my kids. We would pick strawberries in our backyard where she learned to plant, had a garden in the back. And she didn't say too much because she worked a lot, but those are things that brought a smile to her face. We would spend time over my uncle Elsie's house and eating frozen grapes and sardines. Something I'd love to eat that was introduced by my uncle. Also, I love coming up here in the summer because my birthday's on July 6th. And July 4th, we would go see fireworks, and that was something back then I could take, kind of exciting. But I was coming up on my 8th birthday, and for some reason, to me, the number 8 was special. I felt like I was grown because I was 8. I don't know why. But we would go around stores and, here and there. And one day we were at the Kmart, and we came across this display of track shoes. This was the first time I fell in love with tennis shoes. They were gray and blue, little white in it, but it had a gum bottom that just accentuated the shoe. And I was like, Grandma, I want that shoe. And they were a little pricey. Like I said, she worked 3 jobs and worked most of the night. So I didn't know she would get those shoes from me because of, her money, her money situation or whatever. Back then, I didn't know. I was 7 years old. We're on my 8th birthday. But a week before my birthday, she came in the house with a bag, put it in the closet with her overnight uniform and her coat, hung it up in the closet. And I just knew those were those shoes. So I waited for the next day when she went to work at night, and I went straight to the closet. Opened the closet, unrolled the bag. She got me the shoes. Rolled it back up, closed it up, closed the door, and went back home, whatever we did that night, watching, cartoons or TV shows or whatever. She came home that morning, straight to the closet again, normal routine, put the coat up, and she looked down, and she looked at me. We looked at those shoes, didn't you? No, Grandma. So she grabs the bag, shoots out the door instantly. She comes back a couple hours later, no bag in hand. And I feel like I was the worst kid in the world. Like, this is a lady that loved me. The only one at that time that I felt, at that age. So we went and had our birthday party came up. I still remember the cake with the big number 8 on it with the candle. We lit and it was sort of kind of somber, happy birthday, that kind of thing. Because I was kind of disgusted that this lady was upset with me. But she did bring out a box. I opened the box with some brown shoes that I didn't like. And of course I said, thank you. But the rest of that summer was kind of mellow because I felt like I let this lady down. So I go back to Texas at the time, go back to school, go through Halloween, Thanksgiving, and right before Christmas break, we got a little excited, but I felt like, for me, I let my grandmother down. I'm not on Santa's good list. I did other things that year too to get off the list anyway. But this was something that was a person that was special to me. So I felt like I let her down. And we go to Christmas break, the cartoons come on and there's a Christmas tree being put up. Dad comes and says, we're not having Christmas this year. I'm like, shit, that's because I looked at those shoes. And I looked at my mom and she had this look, sometimes you could just tell, she's kind of pissed off. She didn't know about canceling Christmas. So a couple of days later, argument. Grandma calls. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, yes, ma'am. So hangs up the phone. Still no Christmas tree. My other grandmother calls, my mom. Let me talk to him. Yes, ma'am. No, yes. Still no Christmas tree. Grandma calls again. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Dad leaves the house, comes back with a tree. So I guess Christmas is on again. So I'm kind of gauging and being a little cautious because we got a week or two before Christmas. Maybe I work myself back on the list. I did pretty good in school that semester, that fall semester before break. So maybe I'm back on the list. So we get to Christmas Eve. Around 10 o'clock, we went to bed early back then, so around 10 o'clock we go to sleep. I was kind of nervous, just thinking about Christmas and what we would get. So when the house got quiet, I snuck out of the room. We had a coffee table right in front of the chimney where we put the cookies and the milk. And I crawl up under, it's pretty low, so I crawled under there, fetal position, and I dozed off. I wake up, look, the cookies are still there, the milk's still there, and the house is dark. But when I crawl up, where the tree is, it's full of boxes and gifts. Oh, I didn't Santa eat the cookies and drink the milk? No wonder. So I go back to my room, tiptoe, because I had been into my stealth mode then. Went back to my room. My brother was still asleep, and I didn't want to wake him up, but I looked at that whole, the whole clock that flipped, and it was past midnight. So I'm like, it's Christmas Day, the cookies are still there. So I sneak back, go take about 2 or 3 cookies and the milk and go into the garage. Because if I get caught in the room with crumbs, that's a whooping. So I go into the garage and walk around to where my parents' cars are in the middle, and I just lay on the ground with these cookies, looking out of the windows on the top of the garage. 1, 2, 3. The door opens from the kitchen. Somebody walks into the garage. So I kind of squeegee up into the car. I see footsteps go back and forth. And as the footsteps go back into the kitchen, I look up through the back of the window, and Dad's taking out more gifts. Right then I realized Dad canceled Christmas because of money issues. And there is no Santa Claus. I would learn that later as he would tell us, I really didn't want to teach you this thing about somebody who's never going to show up. On December 17th of 1990, I was returning to Camp Pendleton after Bootcamp. I spent that Christmas with a couple Marines. The following year, I was in Japan with my roommate, so I pretty much spent that Christmas alone. The next year, Christmas Eve, I was in Saudi Arabia getting refueled for the final trip over to Somalia. And I remember a fellow Marine that I knew back from the rear. He was walking towards us with his head down, like, "Hey, how's it over there?" You ever smell death? And they're like a Clint Eastwood. I'll try that a little bit. Have you ever smelled death? In a Clint Eastwood voice. I'm like, nah. You know? Well, as soon as you get off the plane, it'll smack you in the face. Okay. So we arrived Christmas morning in Somalia. That evening, we took a 4-hour convoy to the interior. And that's the first time I've seen a person get burned alive. And that was his last Christmas. Thank you.